recently, I love the whole Sandlot. I love it. I believe in it. I feel like, kids nowadays, we had a coach on recently, and we talked about how we have to direct the kids how to do things because they don't understand what to do. We always have to tell them what to do. And when you're in the game, you're always asking them what happened. I don't know, coach. I'm waiting for you to tell me. I'm like, well, that's not the point of baseball. So I started a couple of weeks ago, I think Thanksgiving weekend, I put together a Sandlot game. And I just said, I told all the coaches, we have 4 teams, just have the kids come to the field. Have them show up. We're going to have a game. What are you going to do? I'm not coaching. We're just going to have a game. Sandlot. That's all we're going to do. I had 18 kids show up. Said, Coach, what are we doing? Put them together, threw the bat up in the air. They did the whole, trying to get to the top thing. They chose their team, what team they're going to play. And the funny thing was, one guy chose all the kids that were the better ball players, and the other guy chose the kids that were smaller. And I said, oh, it's kind of going to be a kind of landslide here. Nope. They played about 3 or 4 innings, and the team that you didn't think were going to win came back and won. They loved it. It was amazing. And we're doing one again tomorrow. And I believe in that because if the kids can figure out the game by themselves and just play it, they'll learn to love it and they'll learn to understand it. And then coaching could be a little less of the screaming and directing and yelling. We could just sit back and watch it. And then if they, make a mistake here and there, as they come into the dugout, we can say, hey, remember when you ran this route? Let's try this route to the ball because it'll be better. Rather than me screaming out to him and embarrassing him in front of the whole fans and everything else, the kid can have his own instinct of it. So that was my point. That's my side of what I see the Sandlot. But I guess leading up to this question is
well, first let me cut you off there because that was a lot of beautiful stuff there to unpack. And that's a book in itself, just that story that you related. First off,
I love to talk baseball. Sorry.
Hey, well, first off, thank God that you are doing what you're doing because MLB, they understand that the secret to growing our game is with youth. It's teaching love of play with youth. And I go on top of that. I re-raise and I say the secret to that secret is we've got to educate parents and coaches. We've got to create an army of wonderful, positive, empowering coaches like yourself that will just start a Sandlot. And I have 2 kind of anecdotes for your story there. As I began running these Sandlots and having kids just show up once a week and learn how to love the game and learn how to be a good person of high character on a baseball field, I had a kid who was very, very good, played a lot of travel ball, and almost seemed a little burnt out by the pressures of 7 games a weekend and trying to get that trophy and not being able to play soccer because they had to play year-round baseball to keep their place on that travel ball team. Yuck, by the way. Disgusting. But we're playing this game with a tennis ball and no gloves and a broomstick, and he comes up to me, he's like, Coach Ballgame, this is fun. as if surprised, like the game of baseball feels fun. He had learned that no, baseball is work and it should feel like work and it stinks. And that was a real eye opener for me to just like say, wow, he's very surprised of this feeling of joy that he's got while playing the game. A second anecdote is a parent came up, watched an hour and a half of this Sandlot, talks to me afterwards, says, I was expecting as I walked up to the field to feel lots of anxiety and staring at the scoreboard and yelling at the umpire and yelling at my kid. And there was none of that. It just felt like a birthday party. And my kid performed way better today than they've ever performed in a real game. And there's another eye opener. A la the Savannah Bananas, you will play better when you're feeling joy. So that's kind of how any coaches on the other side of the fence that think it's all about win at all costs. You have to build their trust first, but slowly teach them these kids are actually going to perform way better in the high leverage moments when they have that sense of joy and that freedom to fail.